Ladies and gentlemen, today I saw on some news feeds that there are people out there talking about people who know their rights, their common law rights, their constitutional rights, and they're being branded as sovereign citizens, which is an American organization.
Police officers in Coffs Harbour have smashed a woman's car window. Have a look at this. They dragged her out of the vehicle after she refused to comply with an officer's request. The woman and her male passenger argued they were not in the officer's jurisdiction and were not driving but rather travelling in the area.
You guys don't even know what yous are on about.
I need your most senior on duty.
You don't know. You don't have any jurisdiction on this land. Oh, look out!
You're under arrest.
You're a freak.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I would love to just get you one-on-one.
But these media geniuses and the boys and girls who are purported to uphold the law, who don't even know the law, are running around looking for sovereign citizens. And I will show you how that is an absolute oxymoron. So here's my little Australia screen, my home, my people, my place. I love this country. I hate what's happening to it. And I hate it in a spiritual sense of what's happening to it, because what's going on in this country is nothing more than spiritual warfare at a very, very high level, is my opinion. What you think of it is entirely up to you. Let me share this with you. The Act to constitute the Commonwealth of Australia, 9th of July 1900, that was in the UK, an Act of Parliament in the United Kingdom, whereas the people of New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Queensland and Tasmania, humbly relying on the blessings of Almighty God, have agreed to unite in one indissoluble federal Commonwealth under the Crown of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and under the Constitution hereby established. Let me add to that right there, and no other. I will say it again, and no other constitution. We did not agree to unite under any other constitution, period. Now, the media would divide the people of Australia because that's what they're good at. And they will push fear into decent people for the act of knowing you're standing. We've seen this over the last 3 years. We've been called all sorts of names only to be proven right. And here we are again, knowing our lawful standing under the Constitution. There are good people being trashed by the paid media snipers, and that's all they are, is gutless snipers. They hide behind their corporate banner. Don't let them do this. Fear is the weapon of the gutless. You understand this? They are trying to shut down what they call the freedom movement. Fear is the weapon of the gutless. Cowards, yellow bellies. Got it? Right, moving right along. Education time. On page 988 of the annotated version of the Constitution, subsection 481, and I haven't got it written in there, it should be 128, section 128. It's all about the referendums. And it says here, a constitution is a charter of government. It is a deed of trust containing covenants between, now listen to the words, sovereign community and its individual units. Get that? The Constitution says that every man and woman in this country is a sovereign. It is not a terrorist organisation. We, the people of Australia, under the Constitution, are sovereign. It says so in a couple of other places, but I just thought I'd bring that in there because it introduces trust law to the government. Well, they're not the government, the corporation. Moving right along. What is a sovereign? One possessing or held to possess supreme political power. Where does the supreme political power reside in our Constitution? It resides in the people. We are the sovereignty in that Constitution. Let's have a look at citizen. Citizen, a native or naturalised person who owes an allegiance to a government, right? Now, we cannot be a sovereign and a citizen at the same time. Those in the media and those in the police force and those in the parliament and those university professors who've done a lot of psychological training, you need to get your shit right, because you got it all wrong. You don't even know what our constitution says, you pack of wallies. Anyhow, moving right along. So what government? Oh, well, the one in parliament. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do the video again later on to show you that we haven't had a prime minister recite the proper lawful oath for decades. Well, just another story. So what government are we talking about here? Well, let's have a look. Now, this is the final reports of the Constitutional Commission of 1988, Volume 2. Now, these treasonous political parties are still trying to get the Queen of Australia recognised, as they've been using the Queen of Australia since 1973, when they got rid of the Great Seal unlawfully. But never mind. Media people, let me show you something you might find interesting. I don't know whether the truth has any bearing on life in your world. It does in ours. All right. A bill. An act to alter the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution by omitting obsolete words and so as to recognise the Queen of Australia. Okay, pay attention, people. And it's not just the media. I want you to know your standing. I want you to know what's really going on. Be it enacted by the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia with the approval of the electors as required by the Constitution as follows. That is an absolute and total lie. The approval of the electors as required by the Constitution means that there was a referendum. There's never been a referendum on any of this stuff. So this is just lies, deception, and treason. And I say treason in the full meaning of the word, and those who are convicted of it should hang by the neck publicly until they are dead for the damage they have caused this nation. This act may be cited as a constitution alteration, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1988. Omission of enacting words. Now listen to what they're wanting to take out, or what they did take out, of our Constitution. The Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act is altered by omitting the words, be it therefore enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lords Spiritual and Lords Temporal and Commons in this present Parliament, assembled, and by the authority of the same as follows. Do you hear that? The Queen's Most Excellent Majesty had been taken out of our Parliament, out of our Constitution, by Gough Whitlam. God, I hope he burns in hell forever. An act to extend the Queen's successors. Section 2 of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act is altered by omitting the words the United Kingdom and substituting the word Australia. None of this had any referendums. Nobody even knew it was going on except the Prime Minister, a handful of others, and every Premier in the country, and every Attorney General in the country, and the Governor General of the time. Pay attention. A bill to alter the Constitution as required, again with the approval of the electors. Bull. Didn't happen. Blah. Right? This act may be cited as the Oaths and Affirmation of Allegiance Act. So now they're attacking the oath. So when the Prime Minister and the members of Parliament swear an oath, they got rid of the lawful oath and they changed it. The Constitution is altered by omitting from the schedule thereto the words of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland and substituting the words of Australia. This is how they brought in a republic whereby they pay no attention to the people of this country. That's why you've spent thousands of dollars on letters and documents and stamps and paper and sent them to all manner of parliaments, and they have not responded to you one bit, because they are not a legitimate parliament. They are not a de jure government. Moving right along. An act to alter the Constitution to empower the Parliament of the Commonwealth to make laws with respect to successions to the throne. All right, okay. Wow. And again, with the approval of the electors. Nah, didn't happen. I was around in 88. I'm that old. I can remember it, right? Didn't happen. Legislative powers of the Parliament, Section 51 of the Constitution is altered by inserting the following paragraphs after paragraph 38. 38A, succession to the throne and regency in the sovereignty of Australia. Do you see what they've done? You see, we are the sovereign people under the legitimate de jure constitution. We are operating under an unlawful, tyrannous group of people, and the media, I'm going to send this to every media outlet I can find, and I'll bet you London to a brick. They're like ostriches, except they'll stick their head up each other's butt and walk around. This is a good one. This is very good. Yeah. Part 8, miscellaneous alterations. The Constitution is altered by Section 58 and substituting the following section. Now listen to this. Assent to bills. Now this is how the bills get passed. They normally have to go to the Governor-General, who is the Queen's representative, and either he does pass them or he passes it on to the Queen for her to give her assent. That is what a constitutional monarchy by law must do. Listen to this. Subject to Section 2. When a proposed law is passed by both houses of the Parliament, it is presented to the Governor-General for the Queen's assent. The Governor-General shall, on being so advised by the Federal Executive Council, assent to it in the Queen's name. Did you get that? The Governor-General's bought and paid for. He's a puppet of the executive. He's a puppet. Now, if you don't have a legitimate Governor-General, you cannot swear in a legitimate Parliament. They can say whatever oath they like. He doesn't care. And that's evident in the videos that we've got. If we don't have a legitimate Parliament, I guarantee you London to a brick, we don't have a legitimate court. And we don't have legitimate states. And even the High Court under Susan Keitel is illegitimate, is a treason on this nation. You don't believe this was real? Dear Attorney General, look at the addresses in here, right? Professor Enid Campbell, the Honourable, my God, E.G. Whitlam, right? The Honourable Sir Rupert Hamer. Come on, people. This is the evidence of the treason, and you are worried about carrying on your freedom run? This should give you more steam in your bucket than you can handle, right? We, the educated people of Australia, did not agree to unite under the criminals that have usurped our great nation by fraud and deception. We are the sovereign people. Every man and woman in this nation, we are sovereign. We are not traitors. Dear media, we, the sovereign electors of legitimate parliaments of the Commonwealth of Australia, is it at all possible that now that you have absolute proof of both sedition and treason, you might actually report or investigate the real criminals? Or will you continue your blatant protection of their treason? Your actions are your words, and your words are your flags. We'll see which flag you raise. Will you demonize me, the messenger, or will you go after the criminals? Our words and actions raise a flag of disdain for their fraud, their deceit, their treachery, and their treason. If you wish to cast aspersions on those in Australia who are disgusted by those character traits, please go right ahead. My name's Tim Dwyer, and I will no longer put up with anybody trying to brand people who love their country and stand for freedom, who know what their standing is in the common law and under the Constitution of this country. I will not stand by idly and let them be attacked by gutless snipers hiding in the media. Come on, people, stand up. Withdraw all your consent. We're going to push this through, and we're going to push it hard. This is a great country. It's just got mongrel dogs at the top of it, taking orders from the most disgusting people God has ever had the misfortune to put breath into in this country, in this world. There's been some evil people in this world, but none so much as walk it today. My name is Tim Dwyer. I am from South Australia. I do love this country, and I will do what I can to A, protect it, and B, educate those to who they really are and what this country really stands for. We are the sovereign people of Australia.
I just wanted to thank our members who are taking the initiative and writing to senators of the federal parliament and getting very poor responses, but nevertheless, they're still not declaring they've taken the correct contract, and that's a binding oath or affirmation to the Constitution per section 42 and the first schedule. I'm going to take you to this again because I'll go the reverse now because I've got this book open. Let me just switch it around quickly. Okay, so what this is here, and I'm hoping you can all hear me loud and clear, beautiful. Okay, so this on the 10th July 1999 was written signed off by Robin Webber, Director, Chamber Research Office. Now, the question was simply this. 31st of May, your letter dated 31st of May 1999 to the Australian Electoral Commission on the subject of members' oaths or affirmation of allegiance was referred to the Department of the House of Representatives for answer at request of members of the House. Now, we all go through an oath or affirmation of allegiance by members and senators is a requirement of the Australian Constitution. No provision of the Commonwealth Electoral Act 1918 are involved. Section 42 of the Constitution states. Now, what I'm going to tell you is you can look it up yourself. So every member, every senator and every member of the House of Representatives shall, which is a command, before taking his seat, make and subscribe, so just not make it, they've got to write it out as well, before the Governor-General, well, we've got to have a Governor-General of the Commonwealth, that's a problem, of some person authorised by him, oath or affirmation of allegiance, in the form set forth in the schedule to this Constitution. Now here is the kicker. So there it is there. This one here. There is no provision for any deviation from this constitutional requirement. No member may take part in proceedings of the House until sworn in. Well, hello, they're all taking it to a corporate queen called Queen of Australia. So let me tell you this. This is a book that was done, a report to the United Nations on continuance of the application of British law within the territory of the independent sovereign nation of Australia. Institute for Constitutional Education and Research. Well, there you go. Now, I understand the federal police were ordered to remove this book from a lot of libraries and a lot of bookstores. Anyway, one seems to have fallen off the truck, and I'm going to give it back to the individual that gave it to me. But well done, because it really starts to cement, what we're doing and what I'm saying, and why we have to now write to every member of Parliament that claims to be sitting, because if he hasn't taken the correct contract to our rightful head of power, that'll be the King or the Queen previously, but the King, well, he can't take his seat. And this is what all Australians must do, and that's why we got to, if we get our members under sworn to the Constitution like I was, well then I'm happy to sit in this in front of this little red flag. But if they're taking it to a corporate head of power, which is Queen of Australia, well then fly your blue flag, because that's blue is corporation, water, this is land. So, but what I did say earlier was how Senator Smith had come out and said how Hawke had done it, and he believed that it received royal assent, yet he's a senator, been there for some time. And good on you, Ron, for for writing to him and getting you're very lucky to get a response out of Dean, because he floats like a butterfly and sings like a bee, so to speak. So he was very interested in the Royal Commission and the Senate inquiries. He was always on his phone texting. So Dean pays a lot of attention to himself, and that's nothing critical. That's just typical big party policies, to just be a seat warmer. So now you must take the step to get private representation in an honest seat of government. So there you have it. I'm very proud to come out and announce the facts, and it actually goes on and further states that, and I'll read it to you. It was very interesting that I'll go through here. It says the enactment of valid laws under the current system of government in Australia is not possible. Okay? The Queen of Australia has been created and installed as an executive head of Commonwealth, of which the fundamental law, the Constitution, remains part of a current act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom, which, it has been confirmed, is the only authority which can repeal the Act. Well, I don't know about that. The Act can't really be repealed because it's Clause 2 binds the Crown. This is compounded by the fact that the only monarchy that the Act and thus the Constitution recognises is the monarchy to the sovereignty of the United Kingdom. The result of this is that the Governor-General, who fled his post when we served, former Senator Harris and myself served him, is appointed by a Queen of Australia, cannot give assent to any law created under the Constitution. Well, that's a fact too. I mean, Blind Freddie will tell you that, and I'm sweating. It's very hot here today. So there you go, just a quick update. I believe, on a live stream, they're going to run the evidence that's going to be led by the WA Police over this alleged assaulting a public officer. It's about a 20-minute program. I would like you to take the time and have a look at the body-worn camera that's on these coppers, and on the tab man. We called him the tab man. He just rolled out of the TAB that day, had a piece of paper in his hand, I think it was a pasty wrap, and claimed to get authority to have Albany Locksmith cut Mr Mantalini's fences and basically, in effect, we believe, flogged his property. So have a look at it. I am on trial. I've got 4 trials going at the moment. The last one I attended to, I was successful. The WA Police had to withdraw the alleged charge, and but nevertheless they wanted to go to a full-blown trial. It cost me airfares to go to Perth, and anyway, I had it wound up in less than 5 minutes, to be honest. So that was a good result. So I was out of the starting blocks pretty solid. So okay, I'll leave it at that. You need to write to every member that you believe that you've elected lawfully to this so-called government. You need to ask for them to provide their contract, that's their oath or affirmation, and subscribe, and make sure that the Governor-General is bona fide, which means he's the Governor-General under the Crown and not under some corporate fiction, because that individual or that person, because that's how they present themselves in the major parties, persons as a corporation, cannot take a seat. And if you can't have the Commonwealth Constitution Act of 1900 UK, you cannot create an executive government, legislature or the judicature. That is a fact. That is what our founding deed is in this country. So come on, Australia, look at it all. It's all starting to come out. The Indians are circling the wagon, and you just need to take a positive step, put pen to paper, or put your fingers on the touch board and keypad, and send off an email to every member of Parliament and make sure that they're actually sitting in a bona fide Parliament, because the law says to the contrary.
There is a point when you cannot walk away. when you have to stand up straight and tall and mean the words you say. There is a point you must decide, just to do it 'cause it's right. That's when you become a point of light. There is a darkness that everyone must face. It wants to take what's good and fair and lay it all to waste. And that darkness covers everything inside until it meets a single point of light. All it takes is a point of light, a ray of hope in the darkest night. If you see what's wrong and you try